Hello, I'm Mark from Moonstone Publications. Welcome to this overview of some of the stories we've covered over the past week. But first, please hit the subscribe button and share this video with your friends and colleagues. National Treasury has unveiled proposals for a comprehensive overhaul of the country's financial ombud system. They were published just as the new National Financial Ombud scheme, or NFO, officially opened its doors. The NFO sees the amalgamation of the credit ombud, the banking ombudsman, and the two insurance ombuds. The current NFO will form the core of a reformed NFO, which will absorb the JSE ombud and the phase ombud, which will be wound up. The pension funds adjudicator will be renamed as the retirement funds ombud and be given greater independence. Treasury's goal is for the NFO to absorb the retirement ombud, but it will remain separate from the NFO in the short term to avoid adding even more complexity to the transition. The proposals indicate that the revamped National Financial Ombud will be independent of the government, the regulators, the financial industry, and consumer bodies. It will not be financed by the state, but by financial institutions, although not via the current levy system. The NFO will automatically have jurisdiction over licensed financial institutions, and decisions by its ombuds will be legally enforceable. Finance Minister Enoch Gogonwana will get some 18 billion rand more this tax year without raising a single tax rate. For the first time since 2019, the budget provides no relief from inflation for payers of personal income tax. Our tax writer, Amanda Visser, asked the experts to crunch some numbers to find out how an above-inflation salary increase will eat into taxpayers' incomes. The calculations also factor in the impact if taxpayers withdraw from their savings component when the two-part retirement system is introduced this year. The Association for Savings and Investment SA has highlighted the strides made by life officers and asset managers in meeting the transformation goals outlined in the Financial Sector Code. Despite the progress, ongoing challenges remain. Life officers met or exceeded targets in key areas such as ownership, procurement, and enterprise development. Similarly, asset managers showcased advancements in several elements of the BBBEE scorecard, but scored lower in employment equity, underlining the need for a continued commitment to transformation within the financial sector. The waiting periods that apply to funeral policies have been aligned across micro-insurers and traditional insurers. The FSCA published a notice this week exempting micro-insurers from a restriction in the long-term policyholder protection rules. The exemption is subject to specific conditions. The decision follows extensive consultation with stakeholders. The FSCA said the waiting period restriction put micro-insurers at a competitive disadvantage because their products were subject to higher rates of adverse selection. The FSCA has issued a caution to collective investment scheme managers whose income reinvestments result in portfolios breaching their exposure limits. Where income distributions are reinvested in underlying equity securities, the manager creates an additional participatory interest. Therefore, the reinvestment cannot be deemed as part of the market movement exclusions provided for in Board Notice 90. The FSCA said managers must implement adequate controls to ensure that portfolios do not exceed the prescribed limits because of the reinvestment of distributions. The Companies and Intellectual Property Commission has joined the growing list of South African entities that have fallen victim to cyber attacks. The Commission informed its clients and employees that hackers may have obtained their personal information. The CIPC is investigating the extent of the data breach. The Financial Services Tribunal has drawn a crucial distinction between debarments undertaken by FSPs and the action they can take against competitors' representatives. Cape Investment Advisors attempted to have a representative of Independent Distribution Network debarred for approaching some of its clients, despite the representative not being its employee or representative. The tribunal ruled in favour of the representative. It noted that Cape Investment Advisors had improperly conflated the procedures for debarments by FSPs and the FSCA. That's all we have for this week. You can read these stories and many more on our website, moonstone.co.za. Until next time, here's wishing you all the best from the team at Moonstone Information Refinery.